Hi everyone, this is just a quick little video to share with you my setup for the April 8th, 2024 Total Solar Eclipse. I live in Niagara, so my house is right underneath the path of totality. This will be my very first total solar eclipse, but in the past I've experienced quite a few partial solar eclipses. And I've included some of the images from the events on October 23rd, 2014, September 7th, 2017, and the one on June 10th, 2021. And this is just a quick time lapse of me setting up my Celestron CG5 mount to use with my 80mm telescope. I haven't used this mount in so many years, so I'm basically trying to figure it out at this point. So as you can see, the weather is actually not too bad. There are some clouds passing by here and there, but you can still see the sun making its way through every now and then. And I figure today's not a bad day, just to practice the setup and make sure that everything works. And where I live, the weather's so changeable and there's limited number of days of sunshine, so it's just best to get out whenever you can. So here's my final setup, at least one of my setups that I plan on using for the solar eclipse. I have a Mylar solar filter that I got from AstroZap, and it's securely attached to the front of the telescope. The sun is focused and roughly centered in the field of view of my Canon R6 that I attached to the telescope with a 2-inch camera adapter, and my CG5 mount is roughly polar aligned by pointing it north and setting the altitude to my latitude. Because I am using a focal length of 500mm, I don't have to be too precise, and I may just have to make small tweaks to keep the sun centered during the eclipse. And here's just one of the shots that I took that day. The other setup that I'm deciding on is to use my 100 to 400mm camera lens set to 400mm. Depending on how ambitious I feel, I might run it in conjunction with my telescope setup. I may have my daughter attach her Canon M50 to this one. I don't know, but I better figure this out soon. Here I'm using a Skywatcher Star Adventurer, and it's roughly polar aligned in the same way that I roughly polar aligned my CG5 mount. Anyway, with the 400mm zoom lens, you don't really need to have a tracker, but again, I just think I'll find it easier to not have to constantly recenter on the sun through the entire event. In addition to the tracker, it's a good idea to use a wireless remote cable release. I have a power bank to connect to a dummy battery if I decide to use it, and underneath I have this tripod hammock that I ordered from Amazon to have easy access to some tools and also to place the solar filter when I take it off during totality. The solar filter that I'll be using on my 100 to 400mm lens is a Glass Solar ND 100,000 16.6 stop solid neutral density filter that I ordered from K&F Concept, part of their Nano X series. You can get them off of Amazon as well, but it was sold out at the time. These filters are not safe for viewing through and is only meant to be used with your camera and lens. That being said, totality is only 2.5 to 3 minutes long for my area, and when photographing the sun during that stage, you have to take off the filter. But to get the precise timing, I downloaded an app called Solar Eclipse Timer. It will alert you when it's safe to take the filter off and alert you when you should be putting it back on. The other plan is to maybe use my Celestron 6-inch SCT telescope. We ordered a Mylar solar filter from Ontario Telescope, and in lightning speed it arrived. We still haven't made the DIY filter for it yet, but hopefully we'll get that done this weekend. It might be too late to order from them for the solar eclipse, but if you have any astronomy or astrophotography gear needs, I totally recommend using them. I also ordered non-cardboard solar eclipse glasses for the family. These solid glasses are easy to just flip up and rest on your head when you're not looking at the sun or when you are looking at the sun during totality. For those of you trying to plan how to frame your wide field landscape image or time lapse with a foreground object, I highly suggest using the Planet Pro app. The feature that I love is their augmented reality view, so you can go on location before the eclipse and get a good idea of the sun's path that day. I recommend doing as much research as possible before the event. I did find 2 videos here on YouTube that I enjoyed and felt gave very solid information. One is from the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society featuring Alan Dyer, and the other is on the Rocky Mountain School of Photography channel. If I can add links in the description, I will link them below, otherwise just do a YouTube search. And try to enjoy the eclipse. I know for me, I have a pretty ambitious setup planned, and I may not do all of it. I may just do a couple things or maybe even one thing. It depends on the weather and the mood that day. But overall, I know that they always tell you to just try to enjoy and maybe don't even take pictures at all. So I know for me that's going to be very hard to do because this is my first solar eclipse, but we'll see, and just try to enjoy as much as possible. And good luck! Good luck with the weather.